In the 1970s, one television show redefined the limits of science fiction. The $6 Million Man didn't just entertain, it made people believe in the future of human enhancement. It was action, tech, and sci-fi all rolled into one muscular, slow-motion package. But what if we told you the story behind the scenes was even stranger than what aired? You know the sound, that iconic as Steve Austin jumps 20 feet in the air. You've seen him punch through walls, run at lightning speed, and track enemies with his bionic eye. But what you probably didn't know is that the man behind the bionics, Lee Majors, did his own stunts and paid the price. Or that Steve's entire origin came from a novel so dark it would have made James Bond blush. Or that a real NASA plane crash is featured in every episode's opening. Stick around, because the last fact and the bonus aren't just trivia, they're weird, wild, and absolutely unforgettable. Number 10. Steve Austin was originally a killer? Before Steve Austin became America's favorite bionic hero, he was something entirely different: cold, haunted, and deadly. The character originated in Martin Caidin's 1972 novel Cyborg. He worked covert black ops missions and didn't hesitate to cross moral lines. He was closer to an assassin than a superhero. When the TV series was developed, networks knew they needed something more family-friendly, so they dialed back the darkness. They stripped out the trauma, softened Steve's personality, and turned him into a clean-cut good guy with a heart of gold. The DNA of Cyborg remained, but the soul had been rewritten. What fans didn't realize was just how radical the rewrite was. The man who would become a household name had started life as a government-made killing machine. Number 9. Lee Majors was basically bionic in real life. Now let's talk about the man behind Steve Austin. Lee Majors wasn't just playing a bionic superhero, he was practically one himself. Throughout the show's run, Majors performed the majority of his own stunts. One stunt had him leaping from a helicopter into a body of water with zero doubles and no padding. He cracked ribs, tore muscles, bruised his tailbone so badly he couldn't sit for days. But he kept going. He once joked that he should have earned the $6 million salary just from hazard pay. His dedication brought a layer of authenticity to the show that fans could feel. And it wasn't lost on the crew that Majors earned deep respect behind the scenes for refusing to fake the danger. Number 8. That iconic bionic sound wasn't in the original. Now picture this. Steve Austin jumps over a fence, flips a car, and lands like a feather. You hear the iconic bionic sound effect that still makes people sit up in their seats today. But did you know that the sound wasn't part of the original plan? In early episodes, including the pilot, there were no sound effects during the action. Steve would run and leap in dead silence. It felt weird. Producers knew something was off. Eventually, they added the now legendary ch-ch-chase sound, using manipulated tape and electric guitar riffs. It wasn't high-tech at all, but it worked. That sonic signature became so iconic that it was spoofed by The Simpsons, Family Guy, and dozens of other shows. It turned slow motion into spectacle and gave Steve Austin a sound as legendary as his powers. By the way, if you're enjoying these deep dive facts, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We've got more retro gold coming your way every week, from cult classics to forgotten TV legends. Number 7. Steve wasn't supposed to have super strength. Interestingly, the show was originally supposed to stay grounded in plausible science. Steve Austin was meant to have enhanced speed, sight, and hearing, but not strength. The writers and consultants wanted the technology to feel realistic. But then the fan mail started rolling in. Kids loved watching Steve punch through walls and lift cars. The stunts that broke the laws of physics were what got people talking. So the writers gave in. Super strength was added. Science got benched in favor of fun. From that moment on, Steve Austin became a full-blown superhero, and ratings, they soared. Episodes started focusing less on spy work and more on sheer spectacle. Realism took a back seat, and it was the right call. Even if science didn't check out, fantasy absolutely did. If you're into this weirdness, hit that like button. Now back to the madness. Number 6. The word bionic almost got the show sued. But the show's success came with a price, especially when it came to its language. The term bionic became a household word almost overnight, and that caused problems. A biomedical company that specialized in prosthetic limbs claimed they had used the term bionic long before ABC ever aired the show. When the $6 million man went mainstream, they filed a lawsuit claiming trademark infringement. The case never made it to court. A quiet settlement was reached. But here's the kicker. The lawsuit didn't just resolve the issue. It made bionic even more famous. After that, the word exploded in popularity. It showed up in toy marketing, fitness ads, sportswear, and even dictionaries. All because of a show that almost got shut down for using it. Number 5. That crash in the opening credits? Totally real. Let's talk about something most viewers completely missed. The crash footage at the beginning of every episode. That's real. It comes from a 1960s NASA test flight involving a lifting body aircraft. The pilot, Bruce Peterson, survived the crash but was seriously injured. The producers obtained the footage legally because it was in the public domain, and they used it for every opening sequence. The fiery crash and the cockpit panic weren't simulated. It really happened. NASA even quietly helped behind the scenes during the show's development. They provided training tapes, flight data, and suit designs. Some engineers even visited the set. They didn't officially endorse the show, but they were fascinated by how it was introducing real aerospace tech to the public. Steve Austin wasn't just a sci-fi hero. He was a fictional extension of actual aviation history. That real crash? It gave the show grit. It told viewers that what they were seeing wasn't just fantasy, it was grounded in real danger. Number 4. The Bionic Boy almost got his own show. Now let's jump to something that never made it to air but almost did. The Bionic Boy. Yep. In 1978, producers filmed a pilot for a spin-off series featuring a teenage athlete who receives bionic implants after a near-fatal accident. The goal? To reach a younger audience. The character had all the powers, super speed, strength, and reflexes. They even finished a full pilot episode. But test audiences didn't bite. The show felt too kiddie, too soft, and lacked the punch of the original. Critics called it a watered-down imitation. Networks passed. The pilot disappeared for decades before surfacing in DVD extras and sci-fi retrospectives. Today, it's considered a bizarre relic of an expanding bionic universe that never quite took off. The actor left Hollywood shortly after. Sometimes, even in a world of superhumans, upgrades fail. Number 3. Steve and Jamie were sci-fi's first power couple. Steve Austin and Jamie Summers, better known as the Bionic Man and Woman, changed the landscape of sci-fi TV. Jamie, introduced as Steve's love interest, it became so popular that she earned her own spin-off on a different network. Despite that, the shows regularly crossed over, creating one of the first serialized romantic arcs in science fiction. Though a wedding episode was written, it wasn't filmed until years later in reunion movies. Their dynamic paved the way for modern shared universes like Marvel and the Arrowverse. Off-screen, the $6 million man became a merchandising juggernaut. Number 2. The toys outsold Star Wars. Kenner's action figure featured a magnifying eye and bionic components, and it even outsold Star Wars toys at launch. The line expanded to include Jaime's own doll series and a Bigfoot figure, based on the show's most iconic villain. Together, they created one of the first shared universe toy lines, setting the standard for generations of action figures to come. Number 1. The show's theme song was silence? Finally, let's end with the show's opening sequence. No theme song, no flashy animation, just a cold, calm narration. That voice? It belonged to actor Richard Anderson, who played Oscar Goldman. That intro wasn't in the pilot. Originally, the show opened with a traditional musical score, but test audiences felt it lacked gravity. So the producers spliced in real NASA footage, added Anderson's voice, and created what's now one of the most iconic intros in television history. Bonus fact: Steve Austin fought Bigfoot, and it was a rating smash. Of all the strange, wild, and unforgettable moments in The $6 Million Man, nothing topped the time Steve Austin went toe-to-toe with Bigfoot. Yes, that Bigfoot. In a 1976 two-part episode titled The Secret of Bigfoot, Steve discovers that the legendary creature is actually a cybernetic guardian created by aliens. Played by wrestling legend Andre the Giant and later by Ted Cassidy, this bionic Bigfoot wasn't just a one-off gimmick. It became a pop culture sensation. From a fictional cyborg assassin to a toy line titan, The $6 Million Man didn't just reshape science fiction, it helped invent how we still tell superhero stories today. It wasn't always accurate or even plausible, but it was unforgettable, and that's what made Steve Austin truly bionic. Which one of these facts surprised you most? Drop your favorite moment in the comments below and let us know if you had an action figure growing up. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more behind-the-scenes deep dives from classic TV and film. We'll be back next week with more secrets you never saw coming.